Welcome His Royal Highness Prince Jaime de Bourbon de Parme, Summit Envoy of the Netherlands. Welcome to the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Ambassador Mayerfas. Welcome to Dr. Bernard Bot, Member of Trustee of Indonesia Nederland Society. Directors, teachers, and students of Sekolah Indonesia Den Haag dan Herenweg School Wassenaar, dan juga kepada Bapak Ibu dari Indonesia yang bergabung melalui Zoom. Selamat datang Bapak dan Ibu. Welcome ladies and gentlemen to the launching and talk show of Climate Village Project here in the Embassy of Indonesia, 23rd November 2021. The Climate Village Project is a collaboration project conducted by the Herenweg School Wassenaar and the Sekolah Indonesia Den Haag using the Minecraft games. And to present the result of the said Climate Village projects, the Embassy and the INS hold this event in two sessions, the launchings and the talk shows. And ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu, to begin with, I would like to invite Ambassador Mayerfas to deliver his remarks. Kepada Bapak Duta Besar, kami persilakan. Once again, I will announce what is the Climate Village Project. It is a collaboration project conducted by the Herenweg School Wassenaar and Sekolah Indonesia Den Haag. The two schools promote their unique and innovative climate education projects by involving a group of 64 young students aged 10 to 14 from Indonesia and the Netherlands. And as I've told you before, that these events will hold in the two sessions, which is launching and talk shows, which in the launchings, the student will present and hand over the project to the Government of Indonesia and the Netherlands as part of their contributions to mitigating climate change. And during the talk shows, the expert will discuss the learning process in the projects and the feasibility of the implementation of the project in relation to COP26. I welcome once again to all of the students, teachers, and the directors of the schools, and also selamat datang kepada Bapak Ibu yang bergabung melalui Zoom. Selamat datang dan terima kasih telah berpartisipasi bersama kita pada pagi hari ini dari Den Haag. Thank you very much for your participations and welcome to the events today. Welcome Dr. Bernard Bot from the Indonesian Nederland Society. Thank you, Your Excellencies. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak dan Ibu, to begin, I would like to invite Ambassador Mayerfas to deliver his remarks. Bapak Duta Besar, kami persilakan kembali.
His Royal Highness Prince Jaime de Bourbon de Parme, Climate Envoy of the Netherlands, Dr. Bernard Bot, Member of Trustees of Indonesia Nederland Society. Thank you, sir, for joining with us this morning. It's really an honor for us that you two prominent person in the Netherlands joining with us this morning. Directors, teachers, student of Indonesia Den Haag, Sekolah Indonesia Den Haag, and Herenweg School, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat pagi, good morning, goedemorgen, selamat sore, good afternoon. For you who join from Indonesia, it is pleasure for me to welcome you both here at the embassy and online through Zoom. I wish to express my gratitude to the Climate Envoy, His Royal Highness Prince Jaime, who is able to be with us this morning. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Climate Village project is a unique and timely initiative. It is unique for three reasons. First, this is a fruitful collaboration between 64 Indonesian and Dutch students in the Netherlands. With different cultures and backgrounds, they managed to come up with a proposal about climate mitigation in Malino, Indonesia, in Sulawesi. Second, the project can be considered as a new method of learning experience in climate mitigations, climate education. It used Minecraft, a game application from Microsoft, as a learning process to create a creative solution. Third, the project involved children who at early age from 10 to 14 to contribute to climate change mitigation. This project is also timely as it can contribute to the outcome of COP26 to reduce the emission and build resilience to the impact of climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, another good thing about the project is it can be implemented in real life. The Climate Village is one of the national program of Indonesian government to increase the involvement of the community in climate adaptation and climate mitigation. The Climate Village conducted through a multi-stakeholder approach involving government, business, academicians, communities, and mass media. As you may be aware, Indonesia has a commitment to reduce 29% of greenhouse gas emission with our own effort by 2030. This Climate Village project is part of that effort. Since its inception in 2016, the Climate Village has been established in 2,775 locations in Indonesia. The target is to have 20,000 climate village in Indonesia by 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, this climate village project can be a good contribution to the government of Indonesia. Therefore, I congratulate the student, the teachers, and the director of Sekolah Indonesia, the Hague, and Herenweg School for their project. I wish to extend my appreciation to the Indonesia Nederland Society for facilitating the project. I also thank the speakers who will share their insight in the event. I will end my remark by thanking all of you who participate in the event, both online and offline. I wish you a good health. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Now, as we comment to the next session, so I would like to invite the representative of the students from Herenweg School and SIDH to present their project. Please come forward to the stage and please give them an applause.
Good morning, everyone. Today we will be presenting Climate Village of Malino. This is a collaboration between students of
SD, SMP, Sekolah, Indonesian, The Hague,
and Group 7 CBS, the Herenweg School.
Our work. We use Microsoft Minecraft to build a climate village in Malino, South Sulawesi, Indonesia, and help solve climate change. In this project, we got information from the people in Malino. We got what problems they have, and then we brainstormed their solution. After that, we built them in Minecraft. This way, we can combine having fun while also trying to save the world.
On this slide, you can see pictures of Malino. You can see the houses where people in Malino lives and nature. With nature, I mean the flowers and the waterfalls. Our group topics. Group 1 is water management. Group 2 is waste management. Group 3 is food security. Group 4 is wildfire prevention. Group 5 is increase in vegetation cover. Group 6 is renewable energy. And lastly, Group 7, climate-related disease. Malino has polluted drinking water. Group 1, water management. What's the problem? The problem in the rainy season, drinking water in Malino is dirty from the mud. What's your solution? The solution is to build a system to filter the water. What did you build in Minecraft? We built a water filter to clean dirty mud water from the mountains and rivers to clean water. Here you can see the water filter. We also made a dam to regulate the water and make renewable energy.
Here you can see the dam, and when we got this key, it closes, and when we break it, it opens.
Malino does not have a waste management system. Group 2, a waste management. The problem, people in Malino do not have a waste management system. They burn their waste. The solution, make a reliable and efficient waste management system. What we built in Minecraft, recycle center to collect and divide the waste.
Here you can see the Waste and Recycle Center.
Trash bins for people in Malino to throw their trash. We made a we made a way to deliver the compost to the forest.
Here is the compost delivery system. And here we put the compost, and then if we follow this track, it leads to this, which will then be put here by the garbage truck or the garbage truck, a car.
We made a waste to energy to plant to produce electricity, and we made it far from the village so there won't be any complaints from the villagers.
And here you can put the trash here, for example, and it through this mechanism over here inside, it burns the trash up and produces energy. And although it burns and therefore produces carbon dioxide, it is actually carbon negative because it is more harmful to the putting waste in landfill is more harmful to the environment than waste to energy plants.
Let me continue the presentation about food security problem in Malino. Food security. What is the problem? We learned from people in Malino that in Malino there's only a marketplace 2 times a week. So the food in Malino is sold quickly, and some people grow their own food, but not everybody can do that. So our solution is to provide low emission farm. This is an important issue to provide more healthy food to your body and less chemical material. And our solution is to build farmers market. What we build in Minecraft. We build a rice field. As you can see, this is the rice field. We also build a bee house to help pollination. As you can see here, this is the bee house. We also made a farm for cows and chickens. This is the farm for cows and chickens so the people in Malino can get eggs and milk. Also, we made a mixed farming system, mixing different kind of plants in one land so these plants could support each other with the growing system. Here we mix rice and trees. And then mixed farms are proven to be more effective. The farmer could then sell their products to the market. And here we mixed pumpkin, melon, and potato, and beetroot. In the market, we also provide rubbish bins that separate organic trashes and plastic so that people could throw their trash. And the result of the organic trash could be sent back to the farmer for compost. Don't forget, compost is important because compost is food for plants. Also, Malino is known as City of Flowers. So in the market, we also built a fountain and flowers around it. As you can see here, this is the fountain to keep Malino beautiful. And the last one is we built a pathway from the city to the market for easy access. Access is important for distribution, farming product, because for example, the farmer wants to deliver the eggs to the market, so they need a path to bring them to the market. And that's all about food security. Thank you for listening.
Every year, there is a wildfire in Malino. So, good morning. This is for Group 4, Wildfire Prevention. What is the problem? The problem is people in Malino always burn their waste, and if there is too much wind, the fire will spread to the forest, and the fire causes wildfire in the forest once a year. And what is the solution? The solution is provide a fire truck filled with renewable energy. And what we build in Minecraft? First, we build a river around forest, so if there is a wildfire, the fire truck can use the water on the river to extinguish the fire. And we also build a road from the fire station to the village and to the hospital. So if there is a wildfire, the fire truck can go to the village or to the hospital easily. Thank you.
Trees. We love trees. Group 5. Increase vegetation cover. The problem. Trees in Malino are cut down without being replanted. The solution. Protect the trees and increase public exposure of importance of caring for trees. We also plant a lot of trees.
What we built in Minecraft. We made it so if people cut one tree, they will have to plant 2 more trees so the world is still alive in the next decade. There you can see the sign. If you cut one tree, you have to plant 2 more trees. And the greenhouses with solar panels. There you can see the greenhouse with the solar panel. We made national parks. There you can see the national park and a monument dedicated to the trees so that there will be more public exposure to the importance of tree planting. The electricity in Malino is not reliable. Group 6, renewable energy. The problem. The electricity in Malino is unstable and unreliable. What's the solution? The solution is find renewable energy using researches available in Malino. What we build in Minecraft. Windmills. There you can see one of the windmills. And on the top of it, we have built some solar panels. We also made solar panels on the roof of every house and in the field to make more energy. There you can see some houses with solar panels. And we made a hydroelectric energy station near the waterfall. And water mills, because there's a pump in it that makes renewable energy. Group 7. Group 7, climate-related disease. The problem. There is no hospital in Malino. There's a healthy center, but sometimes a patient needs more care. They have to be transported to another hospital in a neighbor city, and it takes time to go there. The solution, build a sustainable hospital in Malino. What we build in Minecraft. A hospital without air conditioner, so it's environmentally friendly. We use many windows and higher ceiling in the hospital so air can circulate. And it's still cool even without air conditioner. This is the hospital that we built. And on the top of the hospital, there are solar panels. So you can see. This was our presentation. Thanks for listening. We have worked hard on it, so I hope you enjoy.
And now for the similar handover of this project, I would like to invite His Royal Highness Prince de Bourbon de Parme and His Excellency Ambassador Mayerfas to join the students at the stage. So first, we are going to have the handover from the representative of student of SIDH to the climate envoy of the Netherlands. And next, it will be followed by the handover from the representative of students of Herenweg School to the ambassador of Indonesia. So to commemorate this event, we will have a photo sessions. I invite Dr. Bernard Boltz and the director of SIDH and Herenweg Schools to please come join to the stage. And if I may, the order will be at the back line. We should have the director of Hague schools. Yes, the ambassador, the climate envoy, and Dr. Bernard Boltz and director of SIDH. And kids, please be at the front lines. So at the front line, the students of both schools. Yes, and thank you very much. Let's give him an applause. And to complete the ceremony, I would like to invite His Royal Highness Prince Jaime de Bourbon. And for everyone else, please return to your seat. Thank you very much. As we're going to continue, and I would like to invite His Royal Highness Prince Jaime de Bourbon de Parme, Clement Envoy of the Netherlands, to deliver his
Iya, nggak tahu
remarks.
kenapa, tapi gue
Great job. Your Royal Highness, please take your part.
No, it's great to be here with all of you. Your Excellency, thank you for hosting us here in the Indonesia House. And former boss of mine, former Minister Bott, great seeing you again. It's been quite some time. I see the youth representatives of the UN here, and of course you students. You've done a fantastic job. I have to present very often, but I think the way you've done it and how you share the microphone, and some reading like this, and some people putting it on the floor and actually flipping over the page with your feet. I think that already shows some of the creativity. And what I really enjoyed as well is, just having fun while saving the world. Very often we think of the most difficult things in the world, and we are carried by the weight of it. But to have creativity and to have fun with it is important. I must say, I have to confess, with my job as climate envoy, I'm having sometimes some fun as well. And these are one of the moments to have fun. And I've never really worked with Minecraft before. It reminds me of Lego, but then digital Lego. So we can go much more into the houses and see how the world looks like. And to visualize the solutions is incredibly important. So I'm super proud to see you knowing so much about climate, but from a very local perspective and with a very creative can-do mentality. You talked about waste. Waste is a big issue for all of us. You see how much we throw away every day. Food, plastics, paper, glass, and how to deal with waste is very important. And actually, we've just been in contact with the Indonesian Ministry of Environment as well to see if we can help think through circular economy, how to take out the waste and make use of it better. And part of it is also using it as an energy source as well, which is better than landfills, is better than all the plastic coming in the sea and having the plastic soup as it's known. So, it's very good that you've highlighted that. Also the food security. We need to provide enough food, and we need to look at spatial planning. Where do we have the food, and how do we protect the forest while we do a lot of agriculture? And the wildfire protection, also a good point. How do we create enough water bodies close to the forests for the firemen to be able to do their work, and to not cut just one tree but plant two back? That's the solution. We also should give back more to nature, because it takes a long time for a tree to grow and actually absorb CO2. So I think that was a wonderful proposal. And electricity from wind, sun, and water. And again, it was all about spatial planning. Even to put solar panels on top of the wind turbines, I thought that was creative. I haven't seen that before. So to use every space, and of course all the roofs. And the panels are becoming lighter and lighter. There's new panels coming out that are so light that you can actually put on every roof. So you don't need to have very strong roofs to have solar panels, and that's going forward. And disease, of course, with climate change, we might have more chance of new types of diseases that we don't know about. Even in the Netherlands, they're saying we might even get malaria in the future if we heat up our planet a bit more. So I just want to say I'm incredibly proud, and I want my daughters, they're 7 and 5, to learn from you. So we have the youth ambassadors there in their 20s. How old are you? How old are you? 10? So you're teens already. And my daughters are about 3 years younger than you are. So they'll be looking up to this. So I'm going to see if I can see this online, and they can learn from your expertise. And I see that your generation is getting much more prepared for the future than ever before. So we've got the perfect people to work on challenges, but not just your generation. You're not alone. It's all generations stepping up. I've seen the Pope stepping up. I see Mr. Bott stepping up. I've seen John Kerry, he has grandchildren as well, stepping up, and I see people from my generation and your generation. So we're going to do this all together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Royal Highness, and I believe that we all should be hopeful for our future generation and we should set path for them. And now, to understand more about climate village projects, we will show you a short video. Let's take a look.
Last year we planted 3 trees, the trees of freedom, 75 years of freedom of Indonesia, 75 years freedom of the Netherlands, and 75 years of the United Nations.
And trees is a symbol of the future, just like children's are. That's why these 2 schools, Sekolah Indonesia and the Herenweg School, try to collaborate and working together.
Trees are also symbolizing free minds of children, so they can think free of our future, the future and the care of our earth.
And that is very important right now because looking at the problems we have right now about climate change, which will affect the future of our children and our trees as well, it makes us think of getting the children to sit together and work together as a global citizen to find a solution for this problem.
So global citizenship is about our future, our earth, and that's why our children are collaborating together. A unique cooperation between 2 schools, Sekolah Indonesia and the Herenweg School.
Two schools, two countries, two cultures, but one problem, climate change. And we sit together to take care of our earth, to think what we can do to have a better future.
Welkom hier op de Herenweg School. We are going upstairs, so please follow us. Yeah?
Well, I really like the project because we can work together with the Netherlands school.
We work together and we are friends now with the Indonesian school.
It's dealing about climate change, and how can we build a climate village?
Yeah, I like the project because we can help Indonesian with them climate, and if we help them, they can live a better life there. So I like the project. I didn't know Minecraft before, but then when this project started, then I know Minecraft and oh, it's like a game. You can build everything in an island.
Minecraft is an app, and you can build things very real. It is with much details, and yeah, it is a good app. You can make everything what you want, and you can discuss about it.
It's like building in real life, you know, where you need to look at the concepts and designs and what is the purpose of the building and how can it contribute to a better climate.
Sometimes you can do what you want, what you only want to, but it's good if you work together. So you learn to work together. Because if you want to work later alone, it's very difficult when you work together. So it's very important that you learn working together and not only on your own. That this project is really wonderful. You can work together with other people, and that this project is very important.
These problems is our future. And it is good we talk about it because it is a world problem, and we are the people, and we maybe can do something about it. And maybe and if you think it doesn't matter, maybe it grows up. The problems keep going, and that's not good.
Because it's our future, and if we don't take action now, the planet is going to go haywire. Yeah, and it is our future that we are protecting.
I will say thank you to the Indonesian children and the teachers and my teacher and director from the school. So I will say thank you to them.
Congratulations to Sekolah Indonesia in The Hague and Herenweg School Wassenaar on the completion of Project Climate Village that is based on the real situation in Malino, South Sulawesi. This is a unique project conceived by Indonesian and Dutch students. It incorporates a new learning method to create a model of sustainable climate village by using Minecraft game applications. The launching is timely in relation to the COP26 in Glasgow on the effort to tackle climate change. This should motivate us to be more climate conscious.
Let's give them an applause. So that marks the end of the launching sessions. And before we begin to the next sessions, we'll have a remarks from Dr. Bourbon. Yes, and we'll also have a thank you again once more to the Prince Jaime de Bourbon de Parme for his attendance here today in the Embassy of Indonesia in The Hague. Thank you very much. And now I invite Dr. Bernardo to deliver his remarks. Dr. Bernard, please take your time. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Your Royal Highness, what a pity that you have to leave us so soon, but of course it was fantastic that you could say a few words to us. I think it will be a great stimulus for everybody present here. Also, it is an expression of the interest you bear to this kind of program. And I'm all the more happy since I know that you are very busy. You were present at Glasgow, and that you can be here among us, I think is a great honor and a great pleasure. Pity that we can enjoy a little longer your presence, but I understand that there are other things you have to do. Once again, thank you for being with us today, and good luck and toi toi toi, as they say. Well, first of all, of course, I must say that I am delighted that I may be here today and that I may say a few words to you. I want to thank the ambassador for creating this opportunity, but I also want to thank Mrs. Monica Bouwman because she has put together this program, and I think that so far it has been a great success. By the way, can everybody hear me? Because that is important, you know, because I must say, I am delighted that I may be here today, so to speak, present at the creation of a new concept of a climate village. And the way in which you have presented that, I found very impressive. I remember at the beginning when at the Herenweg School, we discussed these things many months ago. There were some doubts. Is it feasible? Are the students capable of implementing this program? And now see what the result is. That is fantastic. And so I want to compliment everybody who has participated by the way in which it has been done, because this is very important. There is a lot of talk, a lot of discussion about climate change, about the environment. But what is much more important is that from a young age on, you really see and realize what it means to put all these words into practice, to create something, not only here, let's say, on the screen, but also knowing that this will be implemented in real life, in real time, and that at a given moment, there will be such a village, and that all the things which you have created will be put into practice. And I think that is very impressive. And I think also for you, because if you start at a young age, let's say, thinking about these things, realizing how important it is, but also helping each other. And I have had, of course, and I still have a lot of contacts with the country where I was born, because I was born in Indonesia. So I always say, I have a motherland and I have a fatherland. And I'm always very happy, you know, to be here at the embassy. And I want to thank, of course, the ambassador for giving us this opportunity, because I'm speaking also on behalf of the Indonesia Nederland Society. And normally it's chair, Mr. Kronenberg, would have been here to say a few words, but he cannot be here today. But of course, his interest is not less great in what has been done and what you have performed so far. I'm also sure that once you have started with such a project, you're already eager to start with something else. And I'm sure that the director of the school, of the two schools, are also already thinking about what kind of follow-up you can give to this beautiful initiative. Because I think this Minecraft system is something very important, but also I think it's very stimulating. And once you have started with it, you want to continue. You want to find something new, something that is interesting. And I think it is, as they often say, it is learning by doing. And that is what you have been doing so far. So they have to say that I could not speak too long. And of course, that is what you all think, because there are other, perhaps even more important things to do, or which you are going to do. I only want to say that I read with great interest everything that you have also put on paper. And I think that what is important is to give concrete expression to the togetherness, being together as two countries. Because let's say I have, let's say from an early age on, always been greatly interested in promoting the cooperation between our two countries in many, many ways. And this again today, let's say, is at a different level, different age group, but not less important, because you are the future of our two countries. And I'm very happy that, so as I say, that I may say a few things today. I heartily subscribe, because that is what you also, Monica, I think, wrote down. I heartily subscribe to your stimulating suggestion to reach out to politicians and policymakers to include similar projects in the curriculum of primary and secondary schools. So it is not only something that you have created here in the context of these two schools, but I hope that it will also let's say, be a very fruitful program that will be taken up by other schools here in the Netherlands and in Indonesia. But first and foremost, of course, I would like to see the implementation of this village in Sulawesi. And I don't know whether any of you will have the opportunity, once the village has been created, to go there and to see for yourself. I am very interested, and I think it would be worth a trip to that beautiful country, the country where I was born. And let's say I have still very warm feelings, as you know. But I want to thank once again the pupils. I think you have done an impressive job, so much creativity, so much imagination, with such a beautiful result. Fantastic. Thank you very much. And I hope to see more of it and to see more of similar projects and programs. But I'm sure that the directors of the two schools are already thinking, you know, of follow-up. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Burt, for your remarks. And it also marks the continuations to the next sessions of today's events, the talk shows. And this talk show, the expert will discuss the learning process of the projects and the feasibility of the implementations of the project itself. And now, I would like to invite Ibu Monica Bourbon from the Indonesia Nederland Society as the moderator to the stage. And I would also like to invite the directors of SIDH and the director of Herenweg School as speakers here live from the embassy. Please come to the stage. And joining us virtually, we're also welcoming Professor Aryan Was from Wageningen University, Ibu Yanti Kusumanto from TYK Research and Consulting, dan Bapak Satrio Bramono Brotodiningrat from Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Indonesia. So we already have Ibu Monica Bourbon, Director of SIDH and Herenweg Schools, and we're also going to have Professor Aryan Was from Wageningen, Ibu Yanti Kusumanto, and Bapak Satrio Bramono Brotodiningrat from MOVA. Now, Ibu Monica, the stage is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ambassador, distinguished guests, distinguished teachers, distinguished pupils, students, children. It's a great pleasure to be here. I like to say hello to the audience in the room, but also to the audience online, because I know that your schoolmates and your parents are watching also, so they are connected to this room. And I first like to express my joy, my gratitude for this wonderful program. And I'm very happy that we have the headmasters, the directors.
We are from Indonesian School of the Hague, because there are a lot of people really concerned about the project. And then this is facilitated by Ibu Monica from Indonesian Nederland Society. And also, I think Ibu Yoti is listening us also here, and then Herenweg School. This project is starting. The inspiration, for the project started last year when we did the commemoration between the 75 Indonesian independence and also the 75 the independence of the freedom from Netherlands and also for the United Nations. When we planted 3 freedom trees. And then since that time, we discussed with 2 schools, Bob from Herenweg School and I from Indonesian School, that we talk about trees, talk about children's, we talk about futures. So at that time I said to Bob, we cannot stop only for this project. We have to continue for another program that thinking about a good collaboration between 2 nations.
Thank you, Pa Herman.
Okay.
Thank you, Pa
Yeah.
Herman. And so you stayed connected. This was very inspirational, and we've seen the result of this. And Bob, you came with an idea in July, because you had a find that Minecraft could be a wonderful tool in education.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts and your feelings on this day today?
Well, my thoughts and my feelings about today is in one word, 2 words: very proud. Very proud on the children and on the teachers. So what they built, it's I think it's unique what they have done.
Okay, thank you. And would you advise other schools to use this program as well, to also put the Climate Village project into their curriculum?
Yeah, I really should do this because Minecraft makes it possible that children can hear their voice, and they build in Minecraft, and they can show already what they have done. But Minecraft is in this case a tool for child inclusion, so the children can let her hear their voice and can discuss with each other, discuss with professionals, with experts about things in the world, on the planet, and they have a very fun tool for that, and that's Minecraft.
You make me very curious because you said child inclusion. Do you think that the voice of children is not being heard enough in the world of politics?
Well, I think that the most of the adults make a decision for the children. And what we saw today is that children are very creative, have very beautiful minds, and they can think in solutions without barriers. And they can show in Minecraft what they have done. And when it is possible, I really ask the adults and the governments, please use the mind of the children for the future of our planet. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. These are very interesting thoughts, and we could talk about this for hours, but we have not so much time. But maybe thank you so much for your contribution. Yeah. May I introduce Professor Arjen Wals now?
Can I say
Oh, sorry.
one point? Yeah. Okay.
Point.
Okay, Monica. Also, I'd like to say in this very good opportunity that what we have already give to our students, not only about Minecraft, but for 21st century skills are given to them. Creative thinking, kemudian creativity, problem solving, and also communications, whether communication orally and also communication through the ability of ITC, I mean, using the Minecraft. And also in this case, we share also about culture together, between Indonesian culture and others. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is a wonderful point, because in this project, you had the possibility to bring both cultures together, both countries. Thank you. I've one thing to say. Oh, okay. I see that Professor Arjen Wals is not yet online. So maybe I can turn now to Ibu Anissa Trianti. She's a lector at the Copernicus Institute in Utrecht, at Utrecht University. And she is a researcher on the planting of mangrove forests in Indonesia. And she is also a specialist in education. Hello, Anissa. I'm happy that you are here. Ibu Yanti, who would have been here, can't join us because of internet problems.
My name is Yanti Kusumanto. I was supposed to be one of the panelists at the launch of the Climate Village project at the Indonesian Embassy this morning, but due to network problems, I could not join you at the launch. First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to the Indonesian Embassy and the project initiators for having invited me to speak at the event. I have been requested to speak about the feasibility for implementing the Climate Village project, but please allow me to translate this request to the question of how could we make things happen? So how could we ourselves make the project implementable? I see the Climate Village project more as an evolving project. While this launch shares the results of the initial phase of the project, I believe that learning and action processes may have only just begun. From this perspective, I would urge all to see this launch as the start of an endeavor for finding ways how to deal with climate change through education, learning, and cooperation. As some food for thoughts, I would like to share my review on this project. The climate crisis, as we can speak of a crisis whereby there is no time to lose or to waste, tells us that humankind has learned the wrong things or has used inappropriate methods to learn about life and all that make life possible. This has led us to live in ways that are not sustainable and even that could be destructive for our planet and life on it. The Climate Village project can be regarded as a means to adopt new ways of a continuous learning, understanding, and acting. Climate change is for all a learning endeavor, not only for the students in the project. There are 4 different project levels: the institutional school level, the students partnership level, the action level, and the policy level in context of Indonesian-Dutch bilateral partnership. The institutional school level does not only talk about educational or learning methods, but crucially also about the content of climate education. Content is key, with an emphasis on evolving scientific climate knowledge combined with evolving local knowledge. We may also need to redefine expected learning outcomes. What new knowledge or skill sets are necessary? What values and attitudes to aim at in education? These are all matters that challenge schools and educators. The newness of climate change to education could bring with it anxious and insecure feelings among educators, including about their own competencies. Educators and schools should therefore be empowered and their capacities be built. At the student partnership level, for the students working on a climate village together with students who are from another socio-cultural context, may help particularly to build solidarity and empathy in tackling a shared challenge, which is called climate change. The students may have become more aware that climate change is about the survival of humans as one global community. How could young people empower each other and make alliance with others? How to represent other young people? How to speak up in larger groups and in public, or negotiate with decision makers? These are all skills that are connected to climate education. At the action level, Minecraft is a tool for thinking about how to bring about changes and for taking concrete action. For this specific initial phase, the action is focused on Malino town as climate village. Action, however, should be in ownership of those in Malino itself, the inhabitants, government, and other stakeholders. This may need further refinement by the project and an enabling condition, for instance, by creating the necessary policies. In the future, we could think of building a climate village in the Netherlands as a learning assignment for Indonesian and Dutch students. At the policy level, in context of bilateral partnership, I see that Indonesian-Dutch bilateral partnership is expected to create the enabling condition for the elements of climate education that I just described. As climate change plays out differently in the context of each of both countries, ideally, a partnership should be created whereby both partners mutually learn from each other and bring along their specific country context. Thank you.
But Anissa, you were a guest teacher. Children, do you recognize Ibu Anissa? Yes, they do. You came to the school and you know the kids. What is your impression of this project with the children?
Can you hear me, by the way? Can you hear me clearly? Yes? Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I cannot see the children from here, but I just wanted to say hello to all of you. I saw your presentation. It was great, amazing. I'm so proud of you and also your work that you have been done. So Monica, you asked how I felt. Yeah, I'm proud. I'm very amazed with the results of the projects. And it was such a pleasure for me to work with you and learn from you. It's always about the language, right? I mean, Monica, you said that I'm a guest teacher, but I'm actually also a student because I learn from the students as well on their ideas, the awareness of the problems. At your age, I don't think I know the level of knowledge that you know now. So I'm very, very proud with what we've been doing together, and also applaud the initiator, Monica, and also the school directors from the two schools. Yeah, and I'm very inspired with what you have been doing. Maybe that's a very short answer for now, Monica.
Okay. Do you think this project could be spread to other schools as well? Do you think it's potentially rich?
Absolutely. And I think what is important, this is also something that has been mentioned before, the need of the policymakers to understand the importance of having this kind of project or program. because education is the basis of everything. So if we can use education to actually solve the problems that we experience in our life, that would be a very sustainable solution for the future. You know, maybe I can cite my experience as a children and youth representatives at the United Nations since 2014 until 2019. I was there to represent the voice of the young generation, but it's always about talking. I mean, you can easily talk about a lot of things, but what is important is also to show that you have an important role to change the future. And I think this is exactly what the program is trying to say. So you say with your actions. And the most important thing now is to show also our policymakers that it is a worthwhile investment for the future to upscale this project, not only in the Netherlands, but also to transfer this type of project in Indonesia and in other countries.
Thank you so much, Anissa, for your suggestion. And I would also say we learned a lot from the children and the teachers as well. But I must say that the teachers they had a big job. And it was fascinating how they supported the children and how they helped them to realize their ideas and these problem solving. Thank you so much.
Monica, may I ask to add one point? And I think this is something from Yanti, because unfortunately Yanti cannot be here. I just wanted to cite one message from her that for the students working in a climate village virtually together with students who are from another socio-cultural background may help, particularly to build solidarity and empathy in tackling shared challenge that confront us all. So I wanted to highlight the importance of this intercultural learning. And I do hope that this project is not only stop now and then will be follow up to that. So that's also a message from Ibu Yanti Kusmanto. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anissa. I see that Professor Wals isn't here. Yes. Can I turn now to Satrio Brabono Brodo Diningrat in Indonesia? Welcome to this webinar, Satrio. You are an Indonesian diplomat working at the Indonesian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And your specialty is the coordination of all kinds of projects for sustainability. And your area is the world of international politics, international relations, but also regional relations with regard to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And if you see talking about education, what is your idea about using this project to promote the international relations?
Thank you so much, Madam. And let me say good morning and good morning. And say special good morning to Bapak Dubes in The Hague and all our friends. And also all the students who have put together this brilliant project. Just to answer your question, I think the role of the youth is key. And just as someone who attended the COP26, where I was assisting our negotiation team and as well supporting the attendance of our president, I think listening to all the messages from our leaders, it was very clear that they have the best interest of children at heart. This is not, many say this is a challenge, a global challenge for their future. And I think the leaders understood that very well and have iterated that message and over again. I think in terms of the role of education, it is key, Madam. It is absolutely the most important part of this whole climate cooperation. As you know, the Netherlands, for instance, is one of the countries who has the best knowledge and capacity in adapting to adapting their land to sea level rises. This is something that unfortunately we need to learn, because unfortunately the issue of climate change is real, and it is causing our sea levels to rise. And therefore, the exchange of information and best practices with the Netherlands will be key. And in this case, I would like to also mention that at COP26, our president unveiled certain key priorities in the future in order to protect our archipelago or our islands from climate change. The first one is to protect our forests and peatland areas. And we will seek an ambitious target of turning forests and our peatlands into net sink by 2030. So in essence, we will try to absorb more CO2 rather than emit, which is hopefully something that we can accomplish by 2030. And the second key piece of our policy will be to rehabilitate 600,000 hectares of mangroves. And I think the children understood well in their project that this ecosystem-based approach, or using nature to combat climate change, is very important. And therefore, they understand well what they need to do in the future. And us as adults, we need to give them the biggest chance for them to not only apply those knowledge and education, but also accelerate it from now. And therefore, I congratulate all the students who have participated in this project. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Pa. Maybe Anissa likes to comment on what you said.
Yeah, I think it's great that you mentioned also about mangroves. One of my research is actually focusing on the role of mangroves to adapt and also to mitigate to climate change. And I think there are a lot of potentials from our younger generation to contribute to that. One is, of course, increasing their own knowledge, scientific knowledge, and also socio-cultural awareness about the importance of mangroves, but also to activate the involvement of other part of the society, because children and youth actually the bridge of science, policy, and local community. They have this knowledge on how to build relations, how to be a good volunteer, to start the initiatives. So you can see it in two ways. And I do believe that they can do this already now with, of course, with education, but also with connecting with the civil society and people in their neighborhood. So start small, but also with a huge and ambitious goal, I would say.
Thank you, Anissa. Yes, it is the scale. If you want to make the world a better place, where do you start? If you want to make the world a better place, as a politician, you have to speak with politicians, but it is also important to hear the voices of the people. And so local initiatives are also very important, and to combine the local initiatives to global issues. And this is what we see in this project, that the children build a village, a climate village, on the model of Malino city in Indonesia, and they were building it together. So on the small planet Earth. Okay. If you might add with a conclusion, Pramono, what would you say? What would be your advice be for the kids and for us as we are assembled here?
Thank you, Monica. You know, my advice is very simple. They say the issue of climate change is the issue of youth, but I think the children need to always remind us adults. I think our generation has enjoyed a good quality of life, but unfortunately, climate change is threatening our children's quality of life. So please, children, always remind us adults that we have to do the most in terms of pushing more climate action, and also mobilizing the necessary means of implementation in terms of the financing and also the technology that we all need. This goes back to how the key success of climate change will be international cooperation and partnerships. Please always not only equip yourself with the knowledge and awareness of climate change, but we also ask the children to always remind us, the adults, that we have to do the most and act very aggressively to combat this shared global challenge.
Thank you so much. Do you remember that the children said that they started with information from the people of Malino? Actually, the teachers helped to connect the children with the people of Malino because the children started with questions. If you are like to build something and it has to be related to real life problems, what are the problems? So there were people from Malino who, hey, hello, there are you. They are online now. We have connection with Malino, and it would be wonderful if the children could say hello to the people of Malino. Selamat sore. Selamat sore.
Hello. Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
So, is there any? Are there any? Okay. Maybe Pa Herman will say something to the people of Malino.
Sorry, I have to say in bahasa Indonesia because I must learn difficult to understand in English. I have to say thank you very much. Terima kasih kepada warga pemerintah Kecamatan Malino, Bupati Goa yang telah memberikan informasi, very good information to our children, both Indonesian school and the Herenweg School. Karena tanpa informasi yang lengkap, proyek anak-anak hari ini cannot be completed, ya. Jadi tanpa informasi yang lengkap, tentunya proyek ini tidak bisa selesai dengan baik. Terima kasih. Ini juga menyambung Malino juga kita sudah coba perkenalkan kembali di dunia internasional karena memang Belanda dan Malino punya hubungan yang cukup baik. Di sana ada konferensi FANMOG ditempatkan. Terima kasih. Selamat ya untuk warga pemerintah dan warga Malino.
Thank you, Pak Herman. Let's move on to Professor Arjen Wals. Welcome, Arjen Wals, for being with us.
Pleasure.
Okay. Did you see something of the presentation of the children?
No, I just arrived a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay. So, but I sent you the report. What is your impression of this project? Because Professor Arjen Wals is based at the Wageningen University, and he's a specialist on education and transformative learning for social ecologies in sustainability. Do I say it correctly?
It's a very complicated title. And I call it education, and learning for sustainability. And you know, I'm most impressed with projects like this one, where local people locally explore more sustainable ways of living, and where there is also a lot of space for voice, for own ideas, for people, young people's own, what we say, agency, where they get the opportunity to come up with their own solutions. And we do live in a climate urgent world, where we also look to the interconnections between the way we live here in the Netherlands, where I am at the moment, and the way people live elsewhere in the world, like in Indonesia. I just had a cup of coffee from Indonesia, made by a colleague of mine. And it is, you know, if we look at how our lives are intrinsically connected, and how global problems are often manifested in local challenges, and how education, I think, plays a critical role in seeing these connections and interdependencies, where we not only look at the way what we can do as individuals to live more lightly on the planet, and to live more equitably on the planet, without compromising the possibilities for future generations to also live in a good way on this planet. Then you know, I think we must also look at maybe the more difficult, complex issues about the systems that we have created in the last few hundred years, that are not always healthy for people and planet. And so a project like this, where young people look for solutions in connection with the wider world, is essential. And I think we must have much more of this if we want to make a real change in the next 10, 20 years, because the window of making fundamental changes is closing a little bit. And if young people do not have prospects of a healthy, sustainable, equitable future, it could also lead to becoming overwhelmed, a feeling of apathy, powerlessness. And that, I think, is maybe even a bigger danger, when people feel they cannot make a difference, they cannot make a change, that their lives are being predetermined in a way that is not a good way. So I just wish to say in general that this is I'm really impressed and very happy to see this kind of initiative, and I wish we would have more of it. And so I compliment the young children and the youth and those who have supported this in making this possible.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Do you think are the main points of the if you say what is the asset of sorry. Are we connected? Are we still connected? Sorry, there's a problem here in the communication. Are we still connected?
Now I hear you again.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So I was asking for one topic that you must say, okay, this is important to pick out and to underscore.
Well, I think what is really important is that we when you develop a climate adaptation, climate mitigation strategy, and by creating this idea of creating a climate village, like in Malino, and using also gaming as a way to energize young people and to also utilize their creativity. I think it makes learning more interesting, more fun, more relevant. And I think it's very important that when we talk about climate urgency and sustainable development, that it does not have to be doom and gloom or negative. And it can also be more than, you know, Greta Thunberg, the Swedish activist young woman, talks about there's a lot of blah, blah, blah in politics and policy, and we need more action. And we need to actually make changes locally. And so if I would pick out something very significant here, it is the combination of being active, using gaming, using creativity, and making it in a way fun to work on a sustainable future. And taking it away from this doom and gloom is so important, because only then we can energize people and show that they can really make a difference. So that I would really highlight here.
Thank you. Thank you. So the one word is fun, is what I hear, next to connectivity. Thank you. I would like now to ask someone in the audience maybe to respond. And I see that Richard Meyer is here. You are not representing Microsoft, but you know a lot about Minecraft and about Microsoft and developing games like the Climate Village.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your impression? What were your first thoughts and your feeling when you saw the children and hear the experts and the directors of the school?
Yeah, I think it's a great project. Minecraft is for game-based learning. It connects children, as you can see. It creates empathy. It develops the 21st century skills. And you're really able to get real-world problems into the classroom. And the students show that they can use their own creativity and problem-solved thinking to come up with solutions that adults would never come up with. And I think this project would be great to go worldwide, because these are problems not just for the Indonesian and the Dutch children, but for every child everywhere in the world. So yeah, I think they've done a great job, and the teachers as well, because it goes further than Minecraft. It's not that the project is Minecraft. Minecraft is just one of the tools. It is the idea to get the topic into the classroom.
Thank you, Richard Meyer. Okay, from the University of Delft, is Thomas Hoppe available or not? No, not. Is there? Okay. Hello, Thomas. Nice to see you here. Did you see the presentation of the children? Thomas Hoppe is an associate professor at Delft University, and his subject field is governance and energy transition processes. Yes, am I correctly? Thomas, what would you say to the children, to the directors of the school, and what are your first thoughts?
I think it's a great initiative. I think gamification is a wonderful tool to make pupils more aware, but also others, professionals, policymakers. And it was also great to have, if the children are able to get in contact with, let's say, the school board members, professionals and policymakers to share what they learned when playing the game and learn about climate change and coming up with solutions in terms of climate mitigation. And learning and while having fun is a great way of engaging with this. I think it's a great project.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much from the research institutions. I'm now watching to the youth representatives, and I see that Dennis is not in the room. Okay.
And do you want to
say, Sarah?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't really involved with the project, but Dennis, my colleague, was. And what I heard from it was very exciting. And I think it's a great tool to let children really let into the decision-making process, basically, because they can really adjust their own world and how they can combat climate change in the future. So I think it's a really great opportunity to do it this way.
Yeah. Okay. Sarah Oei will be our new Dutch youth representative. And Sarah Oei has not been to the COP26. Dennis did.
Yeah.
So if we are going, we'll stay connected in the next years. Sarah Oei will be your woman. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and definitely, like, we are representing the young people in the Netherlands, especially, but actually we're representing, you know, all the young people that want to deliver to the climate change and how to think about solutions. So we really want to engage the children as well and listen to them and really take into account their ideas about how we can solve this together. So yeah, we really want to stay in touch.
Okay, wonderful. It's a wonderful occasion that you are here and that you see what their potential is. And so we stay connected. Thank you. Are there any more best practices? Because it's about thinking about climate solutions, about working together. On the other hand, we have to implement them in real practices. And so I'm wondering if there's anyone in the audience who likes to ask some questions or comments.
Sorry that I take the floor once again, but I was very intrigued also by the answers given. But what I think is also very important is all the experts here. How do they see the implementation of this project? Because that is, of course, the issue. Will Indonesia and other countries be able to build a village or villages according to this concept? And secondly, are there certain elements which have been forgotten or which you say should be added, you know, in order to make an even better village or an even better city? So these are basically two questions, but I think they're very relevant for similar projects, because I've understood that we will try, you know, to expand as much as possible and to, let's say, enthusiasmize also other schools to follow this example and to build, well, similar, let's say, environmentally important projects. But then you have to know what I have done now, what I have proposed, will that be successful, or do we have forgotten certain elements? Thank you.
Thank you. You asked two important questions, and I saw that your neighbor, that the ambassador, listened very carefully. And actually, in your introduction, you said something about the Climate Village project in Indonesia. It's a huge project. This is very, 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 very small, but in Indonesia, the ambitions are very high. Ambassador, would you like to tell us more about this? This could also be very interesting for the children as well, because one project is one, but 20,000.
20, yeah. We plan to have 20,000 climate village in Indonesia. Currently, less than 3,000 that have been established. So I would like also in this regard to underline what one of the students said before. It's about cooperation. I think this is the most important thing. We cannot do it alone.
Malino people, Malino government need a cooperation. Also here, I think they need also cooperation. We cannot do it alone. What the student said. So what kind of cooperation that we can build? It's the most important things right now to implement this project in one particular village in Indonesia. The students have implemented what we should do, and it's real. It can implement it in a real one, and how we can government, private sector, community implement it. I think we need a cooperation. So what kind of cooperation that we can build from this, at least for this particular project? Maybe some expert or a teacher have an idea what next, what kind of cooperation we can build after this. Netherlands have a big, a good capacity to maybe to assist in many areas that the Malino government and people need it, or Malino government should do something maybe also. So maybe Ibu Anissa, you can say something about what kind of cooperation we can build.
Thank you, Ambassador. Anissa?
Yes, thanks, Monica, and thank you, Pa Mayerfas. I forgot to say hello to you. We met again, although online, but really nice to see you again. Yes, I think this also relates to the questions earlier about the feasibility of the project itself. I do think that Aryan mentioned about issues such as equitability, and yeah, I agree that the learning process has to be fun. It's not only doom and gloom, but I think the strength of this project is also to be able to show different contexts of different world, let's say from Indonesia, but also from the Netherlands. We did have discussed this in our session as well. Okay, now we are doing Minecraft, but the problem is, can, for example, students in Malino access the software? It's also an issue of equitability, right? So that's one thing about tools. The second thing is, again, about going back to the context itself. And the only thing that we can do as a beginning is, of course, cooperation, like Pa Mayerfas said. But the cooperation has to start with a very clear goal. So what is the goal? Is it about solving the main problems in Malino? So I do believe that in order to have successful collaboration, the goals that we aim to target should really serve the benefits of the stakeholders involved. For example, the government of Malino. What are actually the priorities of the government there that we can try to contribute to? And it will go even more smoothly than we initiate something that is not in their plan for the future. Of course, in the process, we might also invent another side goals or important goals in the longer term. But I think the agreement of what should be the priority of problems to be solved is very important in the beginning of the cooperation. And this is something that children, of course, can suggest through the result of their projects in communication with the government of the two countries, of the local government, also the embassy, because this is also related to the agenda of international collaboration between the Netherlands and also Indonesia. Everyone has a piece of the puzzle, even more than one piece, I think, but the problem is, and the priority should be given to how to fit the puzzle together and then to achieve a very clear feasible goal to target in a few years for a longer term as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're moving to from one project to other projects, and also to the next steps. What's the next step on the level of politics? But as we are here together, what's the next step on the level of education? We've put three next steps together with Ibu Yanti, and maybe we can see them. Okay. I look at the organization because when the project came to an end, I saw that the children said, "Oh, that's a pity. What's the next project?" And Bob, you also said that other pupils, the children from other groups, are also interested, and they would also like to join in a climate village project. So can we make them happy or not? That's the question. Okay, here are the next steps, and maybe we can have some discussion about it. Next steps. Would it be an idea to developing climate village open space learning, because this is there were no specialists in the groups. It was open learning. The teachers had to support the children to find information. Maybe Bob, maybe you can explain something about this learning process in an open space. And Professor Arjen Wals, if you like to say something about it, then that would be wonderful, because you are experts on this level. The directors in practice and you in science. But first, Bob.
Well, I think I think for the teachers, they were not only the teachers, but they were really educational professionals. They have to teach another method, and they did a lot of formative testing, and every time they ask themselves, what do the students need to take a next step and to get the next level? And they had the teachers has to know what are the goals, where what we are working on, but they also has to guide the process between the children, and they had to get above the process for the learning goals. So that was a totally other way of teaching, like the other methods you need in a school.
Okay, am I right that it was hard working for the teachers as well, not only for the...
Yeah, I really think so. Yeah, I know so.
Thank you. Arjen, do you recognize this?
Yes, you know, it's really quite important that the education system, in a way, provides some space and support for teachers to engage in this type of learning. Unfortunately, in many countries, the curriculum is very much focused on outcomes that we can measure, on testing, preparing young people for tests, and they focus on basic literacy, reading, writing, arithmetic, which are all important, but at the same time, we need also ecological literacy. And we need to also engage young people in the issues that matter in their local community, which are a very rich resource for education. But we're often not using that as a resource, And to allow students to not just be engaging in what we call transmissive learning, where they have to absorb and consume in a way knowledge that is provided to them in regular classrooms through conventional forms of teaching, to transformative learning, where they actually use, as you do in this project, the heart, the hand, and the head. So the way we talk about it often in sustainability education, it's about the whole child, which is the social, emotional, the cognitive learning, but also the motoric, psychomotoric, embodied learning all together needs to be in a way awakened in order to meaningfully engage in these issues. The whole child needs to be part of a whole school, where the school is also trying to enact a more sustainable way of living in terms of the food, in terms of the energy being used, in terms of the biodiversity on the school grounds, that the school itself becomes a living laboratory for becoming more sustainable. And then the whole community, the village, you know, connecting school and community with all the actors and the resources, the ancient wisdom that the elders, older people provide, but also sometimes indigenous ways of knowing that are available, but not very much used anymore, and could play a big role, I think, in becoming more sustainable. So creating space for open learning, where also the students can articulate their own questions and their own concerns and come up with their own solutions, is a very important approach for becoming more sustainable. And it's very important that educational policy, and this is a systems change, creates more space for a more localized curriculum, focusing less on national testing and things like PISA rankings, which in a way make this type of learning more difficult. So it takes a whole child in a whole school, in a whole community to become more sustainable. So I see in this project, I see the kind of the beginnings of this kind of whole school, whole community approach to sustainability.
And if you may give it a name, what do you think about the name of Climate Village in the Netherlands?
Yeah, I think climate, you know, to me, climate, it's in the end, it's about a vital, livable village, and climate is important, obviously. But to me, climate is the climate crisis that we are in today is a manifestation of a much deeper issue. And that has to do with the way we have developed, and that is in a big part, and this is political, I realize, has to do with what you might call Western or colonial ways of using space, of extracting resources, mining, ironically, minecrafting, but mining that is not circular, where we create inequality, where we have built an economy of what I would call extraction, exploitation. So there are much deeper issues that have to do with the things that we cultivate as important values in society, which unfortunately is often about individualism, competition, survival of the fittest, taking care of yourself, instead of values of solidarity, of community, of sharing, having more circular economies. We really need to rethink these deeper questions. So climate village is important, but we must recognize that the climate crisis is in a way symptomatic of much deeper crises. In the end, it's about creating healthy, sustainable, equitable ways of living, and call it an eco-village or call it something like that. But climate village, to me, in a way, focusing on climate too much can distract from the deeper issues, which is not to say that we should not focus on climate, obviously, but we should also be willing to explore and to look at the deeper underlying issues and mechanisms that make living unsustainability the normal and living sustainable kind of difficult. So we need to, it's about individuals making changes and opening up space for individuals to act, but it's also looking at the deeper system that makes this type of learning more difficult also, which we must change.
Thank you so much, Professor Wals. you give us food for thought for hours and hours. But this is not a last meeting. Maybe we can organize more meetings like these. I think that this is was your answer to the first next step about open space learning and what's behind this. The next point on the scheme is creating climate villages in the field of education, learning, and capacity building for sustainability. I think without the name climate villages, open spaces will do. We come to the third point, that is establishing an association to promote open space learning, climate village learning provisions in the curricula of primary and secondary education. And I see that the directors of the schools agree that these provisions are important and that they must be promoted, maybe. And on the other hand, also teacher training modules for social learning and sustainability at teacher training institutions. So if there's anyone who likes to brainstorm about these next steps, maybe we can discuss this and take it to a further point. There's one person who I didn't give the floor, but I asked him, and he's Dennis. Dennis is the former youth representative. The current. Oh, sorry, because you are. You are together. Okay. Dennis, can you tell us something about the COP26? Because we worked so hard to accomplish this climate village project before the COP26, and we managed on the 1st of November. We had the last session and we made this wonderful video made by Ernst de Groot and with Ambassador Mayerfas spoke in the video. But what were your impressions in Glasgow? Because you were there and you were there to represent the youth.
Hello? Yeah. Well, let me start by saying I was in the classroom one of the days visiting the children, and seeing it now in a room full of people, high-level officials, I think is really great opportunity for young people to show. If you just give them the trust that they can actually think about these things, they will bring you solutions to issues that are maybe not issues that they should be worried about, but that they are worried about. So I think that's great. And that's what I took with me to Glasgow, and tried to really, I don't know, just tell to the other people that I saw there, which was a lot of high-level officials and people sometimes with beautiful words, but do they actually achieve the results for these children? I think Glasgow was, it wasn't perfect, but it was the best possible outcome, I'd say, given what was going on. I have a lot more respect now for the process of reaching these agreements, and saw how difficult it is for these countries to get together. And if there's only one or two countries blocking the process, of course, it's very difficult. So, yeah, I did my best for the young people, which I did through side events and talking to, I don't know, the Dutch Prime Minister or other high-level officials, and the results are, yeah, arguable. Okay.
Thank you so much, James. And this is your foreland, being a youth representative for your nation, maybe for your city, for your village, but taking some kind of a leadership.
Yeah, if I can add, I already said it in the classroom, I think last time, but yeah, I really, you guys inspire me. So I hope you continue. If this is something that you like, there is a way to these events. Doesn't matter how old or young you are.
Thank you. Now we come to the end of this talk show. To conclude, we had the next steps and different comments. I want to go to the children again because it's their voice, it's your voice, but it's maybe also our voice, because we are preparing for the future, and we are all passionate about making it a better world, because it's the future of our kids. And to quote the kids, we work together and we are friends now. Olivia, did you say that? We are friends now. Okay, thank you, thank you. It's important that you learn working together, not on your own. Hela, thank you so much. And then we have Laika. This project is really wonderful. Applause, Laika. And then we have Bayu. Minecraft. It's like building in real life, you know. Thank you, Bayu. And then the last one, there's another one. Bayu. It's our future we are protecting. If we don't take action now, the planet is going to go haywire. Thank you. May I thank the speakers for their contribution. Thank you so much in the Netherlands, in Indonesia, online and here in the room. May I thank the ambassador for giving us the opportunity. Thank you, Ms. Bernard Bot. Thank you, children, the guests, the directors of the school, the teachers who are in the front of the room, in the back of the, nearly in the garden. Sorry, and the children. Give them a big applause, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu Monica, and thank you very much for all the speakers who come here today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's conclude our event today. And as we're going to close this event on behalf of the embassy, I would like to thank all the participants who availed their time to come to the embassy here in the Netherlands and those who join us virtually. A special thanks to the Office of the Dutch Climate Envoy, Dr. Bernard Bos, and the Ambassador of Indonesia to the Netherlands. Terima kasih kepada Bapak dan Ibu yang telah menghadiri acara launching dan talk show pada hari ini. And we are going to close the event now with a dash of hope for our future generations and the earth. And I believe it is our task upon us to give the best environment for our future generations. Once again, thank you very much for your participations. Zoom meeting ini akan ditutup. Tot ziens dan sampai jumpa. Terima kasih banyak.